Guys, we have big news we need to talk about. Two pieces. The first one is that Coinbase has actually integrated Apple Pay to purchase coins. So now you can actually purchase coins via Apple, and no, they're not going to take 30%. When using Apple Pay for transactions, card numbers are not stored on the device for Apple servers. A unique device account number is encrypted and stored in a specialized chip for data protection. To facilitate cryptocurrency purchases for UK-based users, the crypto exchange Coinbase has announced the integration of Apple Pay functionality. This development allows users to buy Bitcoin and other digital assets directly through their iPhones using Apple Pay feature. Very, very cool. I think this gives more access to users. Maybe people using Apple Pay will buy Bitcoin more, and that will definitely help Bitcoin come up. According to Coinbase, enabling Apple Pay provides users with a more secure and private method of purchasing cryptos. The exchange emphasized that when transactions are made using Apple Pay, card numbers are not stored on the device or Apple servers. Instead, a unique device account number is assigned, encrypted, and stored on a chip designed for securing payment information. The integration arrives at a time when the cryptocurrency market is experiencing a slowdown in trading volume and retail interest. So obviously, Coinbase wants to integrate this to get that interest back up. So this is quite good. Dan Seifert, a UK country director at Coinbase, stated that the new integration helps make accessibility to digital assets easier in the country. He said, "We know users already love using Apple Pay in their daily lives, so it made sense to bring this convenient way to pay to Coinbase as well." So it's a really nice, convenient feature, integrating Apple Pay with Coinbase, and I'm sure users will actually enjoy it a lot. Now, the other thing I want to mention, and it's bigger, is the SEC is finally going after DEXs. I think it's incredibly stupid, and I think the SEC is making a big blunder in doing this, because if it's truly decentralized, they can only really go after the front end. They can't actually disable the entire thing. So the SEC is putting itself in a no-win situation, in my opinion. Obviously, it's not fact, but it's my opinion that they put themselves in like a no-win situation. Because think about it. If they win the lawsuit against Uniswap, which they're not likely to, like they can shut down Uniswap's like front-end interface, but they can't shut down all the apps and all that stuff. And people can just keep making other apps to access Uniswap. And the SEC realistically has no way to stop that. If they lose the lawsuit, which they're likely to do, it's even worse for them because that just erodes their power. Because remember, the SEC is not only going to fight against Uniswap, it's fighting against Coinbase, Kraken, and all the others. And let's not forget, Coinbase just won a class action lawsuit very, very recently that said, like, they're not liable for certain things because the stuff on their platform are not securities. So the SEC lawsuit against Coinbase is not going very well. And if the SEC can't win against centralized exchanges, then it obviously can't win against decentralized exchanges in this issue because they'll be even harder to pursue. And let's not forget, like I've mentioned before, the SEC is not united on this issue. Hester Pierce and one other commissioner are very much against what the SEC is doing. So it's basically a 2-3 hold right now. If one other commissioner flips, which is unlikely because they're split among party lines right now, then like the SEC has to change its mojo. And I think Gary Gensler could actually get embarrassing enough to where they're going to remove him even if Biden does actually win re-election. Like I said, the anti-crypto group is getting weaker and the pro-crypto groups are getting much, much stronger because they're getting more support. In politics, it's all about the money. And there's a lot of money coming in from crypto. There's a lot of jobs coming in from crypto. If you get rid of crypto and you get rid of a lot of high-paying jobs, a lot of communities are going to be mad at you. So there's going to be like competition for like jobs, competition for infrastructure and building, and competition for money. And with that, it's really going to be hard to hold crypto back just because of a couple of senators and a couple of congressmen really want to hold crypto back. So you got to really like think about that. Gary Gensler is obviously doing this because he has some kind of vengeful like thing against crypto. He knows that, like he's been losing the battle against crypto. And it's making him look bad as SEC commissioner. Because, like, under his watch, the SEC has lost multiple lawsuits against crypto. And even their winning lawsuits, they've been like the low-hanging fruit. And like even with their LBRY win, it wasn't a complete win because the judge specifically said that his ruling does not apply to the secondary market. Obviously, there was their FUBAR law case against Ripple where like everything fell apart. And right now, their Coinbase lawsuit does not seem to be going all that well, although they did actually manage to avoid the case being dismissed in its entirety. And I think they're getting pissed off because, like, people are not being afraid of the SEC anymore, and they're actually arming up with lawyers and fighting the SEC. And the SEC's record when they actually fight, like big companies that actually have lawyers to fight them with is not too good. They've either won cases with like small companies that couldn't afford to defend themselves. And the SEC specifically pointed out the strategy. They threatened those small companies of going broke with legal fees, but that's not going to work with like Uniswap, Coinbase, Kraken and all those. And it's not going to work with Uniswap because like people will like give donations to help Uniswap fight the SEC. So the SEC's gotten itself in a huge pickle and they can't really get out of it at this point. And the situation is just going to go from bad to worse for Gary Gensler because the lawsuits don't favor him. The courts are getting tired of Gary Gensler's BS, no matter like if it's a Republican-run court or a Democrat-run court. They're just getting tired of his BS. And overall, things are just not looking very well for our favorite SEC commissioner, which makes me feel warm in my heart, basically, because I think he does deserve what he's getting. He should have actually just like compromised and not try to harass crypto so much. I mean, we all know Gary Gensler's thing. He wants to be Secretary of the Treasury. So he's trying to make his kind of like move in crypto, right? So he can make his stamp and say like, oh, I did this. I bought this entire industry under the SEC's jurisdiction. Look how great of a commissioner I am. But now it's kind of like working the opposite way where things are like completely turning against him and he has no way to control the damage. So now he's just being vengeful and he's being petty at this point. So he's trying to sue everyone and hoping that something sticks. But with each lawsuit that he actually loses, his position is just going to get weaker and weaker. And he's also pissing off the anti-crypto people because they expected him to deny the Bitcoin ETF. And now they're writing to him to deny the Ethereum ETF. But I think he's also going to have like lawsuits with Grayscale and other companies if he just randomly keeps on denying Ethereum ETFs. So he's put himself in a really bad position. He's put himself on the anti-crypto side, which is the losing side right now. And But he can't just like not do something if the courts tell him to do. So like to tell him to do it like the ETF. So he's going to end up pissing off the anti-crypto people too. So he's kind of like caught in a wedge and there's like no way he can get himself out. But he's kind of like put himself in that position in regards to crypto. So I think he can kiss any chances of being Secretary of Treasury basically goodbye at this point because he's not going to be remembered as a good commissioner. At this point, no matter how much Elizabeth Warren, Brad Sherman, and co. try to prop him up, people will not actually remember Gary Gensler's reign at the SEC fondly. Right now, I think they're going to remember it as less good than Jay Clayton's term at the SEC, even though Jay Clayton is the one that did the whole like Ethereum gate thing, and he's the one that sued Ripple. I think people view him a lot more fondly than Gary Gensler right now. So Gensler's in a very, very bad spot. And I don't think that he can actually get out of it at this point. Not feeling sorry for him because he completely brought it on himself. But at the same time, like, I think if we just wait for a couple more years, all these lawsuits are going to start to go away. And he's not going to be able to bring up more lawsuits against crypto because, like, we'll have set many precedents that these aren't securities, those aren't securities. The SEC, can't do this, can't do that. And there's going to be more and more restrictions on Gary Gensler himself. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.